Giving him a week. All right, Joe will say good morning. Good morning. So let's begin. Today's daf is daf Chaf Gimel in Maseches Kinnim Yasher Koach. We had it was really beautiful. The great schus to finish Maseches Meila yesterday during the break in the Sukkah, and Baruch Hashem to begin Maseches Kinnim and be Messiah Perek in Kinnim was a very fulfilling day. Finish a Masechta, finish a Perek. I neglected to mention a very special sponsorship yesterday for the daf. Eric and Avital Schaefer, they sponsored the daf. So we'll use their dedication today. My apologies. She told me it was on this stender in the base medrash, and I just went outside, so I missed it. I apologize. So it's a little bit dated, but you'll appreciate the sentiment. We'd like to sponsor the Yom Kippur Daf Yomi Shir on behalf of the Jewish people, those of us standing here today, those who came before, and those who have yet to come. We ask that our learning be a token of our appreciation and love for Hashem. In His supreme care, He has supported our lives and sustained our souls. He is our one and only God. We love Him, thank Him, and wish that He will seal us in the book of life with Him for a sweet new year where we achieve the greatest potential He has ever envisioned us, b'simcha, b'ahava, and b'yirah shamayim. Shkoyach. I promise the most beautiful sponsorship. Thank you, and halavai, everything should be makuyam. Thank you very much, Eric. Shkoyach. We'll say with that, let's begin. Really beautiful. Okay, so we'll say let's go. So Daf Chav Gimel, beginning of the Masechta. So says the Gemara, says the Mishnah. Kan stuma sheparach mimeno goza. Supposed to remember again, as we already began in yesterday's daf, we've been speaking a little bit about our kinnim, meaning bird pairs. So remember again, as we're going to see, different people bring different types of bird pairs, but right now we're operating under the assumption that any given bird pair is usually comprised of two birds. Well, every bird pair is comprised of two birds. One bird is a chatas. Right, good. I didn't get enough sleep last night. Right? One bird is a chatas. One bird is an ola. So what we already began with yesterday, and we're going to continue with today, is when there's a mix-up amongst these birds. So kan stuma sheparach mimenu gozel la'avir. O sheparach lebein hameso. So we'll say, here we go. Kan stuma means an unspecified pair, which means that halacha l'maaseh there are two birds, but neither has been actively identified as the chatas or as the ola. So what happens? One of the birds from the unspecified pair goes ahead and escapes, right? Flies off. Goes al meaning just flies off in general. O sheparach lebein hamesos, or flies off and mixes in with a group of birds that are going to be left to die. We already saw this in yesterday's daf, that there are certain circumstances where as a result of certain types of mixtures, the entire mixture of birds is just simply left to die. O shemes echa mehen, or for that matter, again, you have a pair of birds, and one of the birds in the bird pair died. Yikach zug l'sheni. Ultimately, again, we go ahead and just simply take another partner for the remaining one. So we'll say, so this is halacha number one. I start out with the bird pair. One of the birds flies away, either just flies away in a way that it gets mixed in with a group that ultimately it has to be left to die, or ultimately again died. Either way, there is one remaining bird in the initial pair. So what do? Yikach zug l'sheni. Just bring a replacement bird. Fine. Parach lebein akrevos. What happens if the bird ran away ultimately again and mixed in with another group of birds that ultimately are going to be offered up as karbanos? So pasal uposal echad kineged. So I'll say ultimately, or I should say, posal. So if you look at the Rush for just a moment, so the Rush will say, I think we said yesterday, I think some of you have it on the right hand side, maybe some of you have it on the bottom of the daf. So if you look at the Rush there, parach lebein akrevos perish. Kinin stumos ha'omdos likarev. So we'll say, so again, in this case over here, same thing. I have another, also bird pairs that are undesignated yet, but that are going to be offered. Pasal. The Rush says, Mila hakriv b'makom sheparach, v'afa pi she'efsha shu karev mikamakom karele pasal, lefi she'al yodo nifsal ne'edar echad me'akrava, v'gam eino ola lebaylim karele pasal. So we'll say, on the other hand, the bird goes ahead and flies off and mixes in with another group that are going to go ahead and be offered. Pasal, it is pasal, uposal echad keneged, and ultimately again kenegdo, and ultimately again it passes the remaining bird that is left behind as well. Shahagozel haporeach, because again when you have a bird that flies away, that runs away, pasal, that bird when it gets mixed in with certain other groups itself becomes pasal, uposal echad kenegdo, and also ends up pasaling, or by just kind of by default invalidating the leftover bird as well. Take a look at the Rush once more. So the Rush says, let's just read that Rush once more. Pasal, he says, Mila hakri b'makom sheparach. So the bird that flies away cannot be offered as part of the new group that it joined. V'afa pi she'efsha shu karev mikol makom karele pasal lefi she'al yado nifsal ne'eder echad me'akrava. V'gam ina ola l'baylim karele pasal uposal echad kenegdo makom sheparach misham. So both say, so we see two distinct possibilities. In case number one, where the bird went ahead and left its original pair, and went off either just la'avir olam, into the world, or joined a group that cannot be offered. So halacha l'maisa, again, the remaining bird, or dies. The simple remedy is we appoint or we designate another, not mate is the wrong word, but another bird for the remaining member of the first pair. If on the other hand the bird went ahead and flew away and joined another group of birds that are to be offered, so halacha l'maisa, in that case the bird that flew away ultimately is going to be pasal, and it pasals the remaining bird as well. Beis, Keitzad, Shtei Nashim. So we'll say the Mishnah gives an illustration of this case. Keitzad, Shtei Nashim, Lazu Shtei Kinnim, Ulazu Shtei Kinnim. If you have two women, right, this one had two bird pairs, and this one had two bird pairs, and what happens? Lazu Shtei Kinnim, Ulazu Shtei Kinnim, Parach Mizu Lazu. So we'll say if one of the birds from one group ran or flew away to the other group, posel echad bahalichaso. Ultimately, again, it passes, literally translated, it passes one when it's flying away. Take a look at the Rush for just a moment again. So the Rush says, so we'll say again, another case over here where you have each woman with two bird pairs, but the bird pairs are unspecified, which means again, I know that one of them is going to be a chatas, one of them is going to be an ola, but we have not yet identified which bird is which. So, and the Rush goes on, parach gozel echad, one bird flies away from its group, mizu lezu, v'nishru gimel gozlos mitzad echad. So we'll say, so one bird flies to a different group. Posel kan echad bahalichaso mimakom sheparach misham. So we'll say, ultimately again, every time a bird leaves a group and goes ultimately again to another group, but again, this is another group that is fit to be offered. So what's the halacha? It passes one of the birds in its initial group. Pasel kan echad bahalichaso. It goes ahead and passes one of the remaining groups in its group of origin. Chazar, and then if it flies back to its original group, posel echad bechaziraso. It passes another group ultimately again when it returns. Parach v'chazar uparach. So we'll say if it goes ahead and flies away, comes back, flies away again. So and what happens? Parach v'chazar, parach l'chazar, lo hifsid klum. Ultimately, we'll say at that point in time where there is so much bird traffic, so we leave it alone. Sha'afilu hein me'uravos ein pachos mishtayim. That at the end of the day, even if they're mixed up, sahaloch l'maisa, at least two of the kinim, at least two of the bird pairs, ultimately are going to go ahead and be kosher. Fine. So that's the illustration. Gimel. We'll say, by the way, you understand there's an incredible musr in all of this. The incredible musr in all of this is that at the end of the day, don't delay in fulfilling your obligations. Because let's remember again, where do these challenges happen? These challenges happen when people go ahead and appoint bird pairs, and then halacha l'maisa, don't offer it up. Don't offer it up. If there's something you have to do, just do it. Don't procrastinate. Because if you procrastinate, right, and you leave piles and piles, or in this case, groups of birds sitting around, something is going to happen. So if you have to offer your birds, or you have to get something done in life, just do it. Gimel. I'm sorry? A bird in the hand is worth two in the nest. Right. A bird of a mizbeach is worth even more. Yeah, inach inami. Good. Gimel. Good. Lezu achas lezu shtayim. So also going back to the illustration of our two women. Lezu achas, lezu shtayim. If one of the women has one bird pair, one of the other women has two bird pairs. Ulezu gimel, another woman has three bird pairs. Ulezu dal, another woman has four bird pairs. Ulezu hey, another woman has five. This is a party. Ulezu hey, right? Ulezu vav, this one has six bird pairs. Ulezu zayin, and this one has seven bird pairs. So what's the halacha? So both say, so now we're talking about over here. Just do it later. Just do it later. Just do it later. Come on. So so we'll say now what happens? Now I have a bird that flies from one group to the next. So a bird goes from the first group to the second group. Lishnia ulishlishis, ulerevius, ulechamishis, uleshishis, uleshvius. So it says this, v'chazar, and then it goes back. Right? So we'll say, so now what I have over here is I have multiple sveikos created in multiple groupings. So what happens over here? Posel echad b'halichaso, ve'echad b'chaziraso. So we'll say in general the way it works is like this. When you have a bird that leaves its group and it goes to another group, and that group is also sacrificially fit, the principle that the Mishnayos over here are espousing is when a bird leaves its group, by definition it passes one remaining group in its group, right? It passes one bird in its group. When it then goes ahead and leaves a second group, it passes a bird in that group. When it comes back to its original group, it passes another bird in that initial group. So that's what it means. Posel echad b'halichaso, ve'echad b'chaziraso. So ultimately the Rosh says, posel of echad minakan sheba mimenu u minakan shahalachlo. Every time a bird leaves its group, it passes one bird in the group that it left, one bird in the group that it left, and one bird in the group that it joins. That's effectively what happens over here. Harishona v'hashniya ein lahem klum. Therefore, I'll say in this case, we are dealing with. Remember, you are dealing over here with a total of a group of women, right? One woman has one bird pair. One woman has two bird pairs. 3 bird pairs, 4 bird pairs, 5 bird pairs, 6 bird pairs, 7 bird pairs. That's what's happening over here. So now watch this. So now when you have the birds flying back and forth through the various groups, the first woman and the second woman, they're left pretty much with no valid bird pairs. The third woman has 1 valid bird pair. The fourth woman has 2 valid bird pairs. The fifth woman has 3 valid bird pairs. The sixth woman has 4 valid bird pairs. And the sixth woman ultimately has the seventh woman has 6 valid bird pairs. Parach v'chazar. So we'll say, what happened now? If halacha lamaisa, the same bird, right, that went. Remember, so far what's happening over here is a bird goes from 1 to 2 to 2 to 3 to 3 to 4 to 5 to 4 to 5, 5 to 6, 6 to 7. What happens now if it makes its way back? 7 to 6, 6 to 4, so on and so forth. So we'll say, so what happens? So parach v'chazar, posel echad b'halichaso, ve'echad b'chazirasa. So we'll say, remember again, it's a basic halacha, which says that again, every single time a bird leaves its group, it passes 1 bird in the group that it left and 1 bird in the group that it comes to. So we'll say, so now, the same way that it passled on its way out, it'll passel in its chazara as well. Therefore, what happens? Chazar, posel echad b'halichaso, ve'echad b'chaziraso. Therefore, again, I will say, if we tally it up again, hashlishis v'haravius ein lahem klum. The third and fourth women have absolutely no kosher bird pairs anymore. Hachamishis yesh la'achos. The fifth woman has 1 kosher bird pair. Hashishis yesh la'shtayim. The sixth woman has 2 kosher bird pairs. Hashvius yesh la'chamish. The seventh woman has 5 kosher bird pairs. And again, chazar uparach. Chazar. Parach v'chazar. What happens now if the bird makes another trip? So I'll say posel echad b'halichaso ve'echad b'chaziraso. We're really just going ahead and illustrating this principle multiple times. This is the phrase of say posel. Bless you. Posel echad b'halichaso ve'echad b'chaziraso tells me every single time a bird leaves its group, it passes 1 bird in the group that it left behind, and it passes another bird in the group that it is going to. So therefore, in this case over here, hachamishes v'ashishes ein lahem klum. Women 5 and 6 will not have any kosher bird pairs left. Hashvius yesh la'arba. The seventh woman ultimately again will have 4 kosher bird pairs. V'yesh omrim. And ultimately, some say, Hashvias lo hefsida klum. That ultimately, again, the Shvias, the seventh woman, has not lost anything. Okay? So we'll say if you take a look at the Rush over here, Hashvias lo hefsida klum, top Rush, bepricha achrona. Ultimately, with this last flight of the bird, the seventh woman doesn't lose anything. Why not? De'in ligzar hashta mishum achrini. De'cheben dechol kol mamesos lo shaykh lemigzar midi. Fine. So the Gemara says, ve'im parach min hamesos lekulan hari. Sorry, ve'im parach min hamesos lekulan hari kulan yamusu. And we'll say ultimately again, if the bird, in this case over here, if you look at the Rush again, ve'im parach mi bein hamesos lekulan yamusu perish mi bein hamesos da'alma. So we'll say, so what happened over here in this last case, and again, actually we'll see this a little bit more in the subsequent Mishnah, which is that if you have a bird that was part of a group that was left to die, this goes back to yesterday's daf, where we saw some examples of birds that cannot be offered and therefore left to die. So if a bird like that goes ahead and gets mixed in with any of these groups, so unfortunately, again, hare kulan yamusu. All of the birds are left to die. Any time in your kan that you have a bird that is not fit to be offered and has to be left to die, it ruins it for the rest of the birds. Okay? Dalid. Kan stuma. The kan mifureshes. We'll listen to this next case. If you have a kan stuma, kan mifureshes. So remember again, in this case, kan stuma, two birds, one is a chatos, one is an ola, but what? They have not been identified. Kan mifureshes. Kan mifureshes means what? Again, identified. One bird has been actively identified as the chatos, one bird has been actively identified as an ola. Parach minas stuma lemifurashes. This is actually a very interesting case. So in this case over here, a bird from the stuma, from the undesignated group, goes ahead and, what's the word? Now I want to say escape. Flies over to the mifureshes, gets mixed in with the mifureshes. So again, so you know how this looks. So the kan stuma now has one bird, the kan mifureshes has three birds. So what do I do? Take a look at the Rush again. Dalid, kan stuma, perish, kan stuma shlon isparish, zu chatas, zu ula. So again, so ola. So again, I have my unspecified group. So one of them is a chatas, one of them is an ola, but I have not designated which one. The kan mifureshes, perish, the kan achar, shlon isparish, zu chatas, zu ola. So two groups, one stuma, one mifureshes. Uparach, I'm just reading the Rush, one more line. Uparach gozel mikan hastuma letocha mifureshes. And I will say what happened. So the order of who's flying is very important to keep track of in this case. In the previous cases, remember, we were dealing with all situations of kan stuma. Here, for the first time now, this is very exciting. For the first time now, we are transitioning out of the world of kan stuma and entering into the exciting world of kan mifureshes. So in this case over here, a bird from a kan stuma, unspecified group, flies over to a kan mifureshes. You have three birds now in the kan mifureshes, one bird in the kan stuma. Look at the Rush for just a second. Uparach gozel mikan stuma l'socha mifureshes. Va'al yidei sheparach l'socha gozel nachri nispal b'lam mifureshes ve'eno makir ata ezu achatos. So we'll say, so now what's the problem? Everything was going great in the kan mifureshes, right? Life was wonderful in the kan mifureshes. Why is that? Because lemaisa, again, because in the kan mifureshes, I knew exactly which was the chatas, which was the ola. Now what happened? Another bird from the kan stuma flies into that group, and now I have a problem. I don't know which is the chatas and which is the ola. I don't know which is which. So I'll say, so what do I do? So the Gemara says, Yikach zug l'sheni. So we'll say, so now again, the Mishnah is over here is commenting, right? Is commenting on the first group. So remember again, two pieces over here. Bird from kan stuma flies over to kan mifureshes. So kan mifureshes, now I have a problem. I knew which was the chatas, which was the ola, but the arrival of the third bird, I now no longer know what is what. But before we get to the kan mifureshes, what do I do with the kan stuma? The kan stuma now only has what? One bird. So that's an easy remedy. Yikach zug l'sheni. Well, say that's an easy remedy, right? The easy remedy is we buy another bird. And I will say the beauty of that is, why does that work for the kan stuma? Because it was stuma, because it was unspecified. So that works beautifully, right? That works out. The truth is, it could potentially work by kan mifureshes as well, if you knew which bird it was that escaped. But leaving that aside, so for the kan stuma, no problem. Easily remedy, purchase another bird. Right, so yikach zug l'sheni. Chazar, oshe parach mina mifureshes. Rishon will say, what happens, however, again? So we'll say, so the Rush says over here, Go back to the Rashi just a moment. So Rashi says Yikach Zug L'Sheni. So Rabbi say that's fine. So now you told me how to remedy the kan stuma. So the kan stuma has been repaired. We now have two unspecified birds. What about the kan mifureshes? What do I do there? Ve'elu ashlosha yamusu. Dechatos va'ola mu'ureves yachad. So we'll say, in the case of the kan mifureshes, that now has what? That now has three birds. What do I do with that group? What do I do there? They have to be left to die. Why do they have to be left to die? Because I don't know which is the chatos and which is the ola. Good. So we'll say, now watch this. Chazar, what happens? Let's listen to this. So what happens if lemaisa again, the bird from the kan stuma that flew to the kan mefurash, messed up the kan mefurash for everyone, right? And now what happens? One of the birds from that group now flies back to the original group, right? Chazar. So we'll say, oh, sheparach mina mefureshes rishon. Or we'll say, or what happens if lemaisa again it was a bird from the mefureshes that ultimately flew to the kan stuma, hare kulan yamusu. Ultimately, again, all the birds are left to die. So we'll say now, look. So guess this. Remember again. So in this last case over here, what's happening is as follows: two possibilities. So possibility A is that after the bird from the kan stuma flew to the kan mifureshes, messed up everything for the kan mifureshes, and all those birds had to be left to die. Then a bird from that group flies back to the kan stuma. So we'll say, what happens in that case? Everything's left to die. Because in that case over here, now we literally have no idea what's a chatos and what's an ola. Everything is left to die. The other possibility I will say also is that if a bird from the kan mifureshes flies over to the kan stuma, then what? Then lemaisa everything is left to die as well. Right? Why? Because remember, essentially, when is everything left to die? It sounds like a little ominous, right? When I don't know what's going on, meaning in other words, we'll say when I don't see when I know that there's an ola or a chatas mixed in over here, and I can't identify it, everything has to be left to die. So we'll say let's review this Mishnah for just a moment. So in case number one, which is the simpler case, well, it's simpler because on one side I have a kan stuma, kan mifureshes, two birds in each. That's just the basic kan. A bird from stuma, again, stuma is unspecified. A bird from stuma flies to mifureshes. Now the shaylas will say every time this happens, I have to figure out what to do with both of the bird pairs. In this case, the kan stuma is an easy fix. What do I do with the kan stuma? Bring another bird. Easy. Kan stuma is good. What do I do with mifureshes? It's all left to die. Why is it left to die? Because I have three birds. Two of which, one of which is a chatas, one of which is an ola, and I don't know which is which anymore. I don't know what's happened here anymore. So because of that, again, we'll say, see, remember, the whole issue over here is you can't bring a bird offering unless you know definitively what it is. And once it's been designated as a chatas or an ola, you can't repurpose it after the fact either. So halacha l'maisa, that kan is left to die. Second case, Rabbi say, is what? What happens? Second case is, we're really going to do a total of three cases. Second case is where after the bird from the kan stuma flew to the kan mifureshes, got mixed in for the kan mifureshes, ruined it for the whole mifureshes. Mifureshes is doing so well. Then the kan stuma bird ruined it for them. Then one of the birds from the kan stuma, one of the three, flies back from the kan mifureshes, flies back to the kan stuma. We'll say, what's the halacha with the kan stuma now? Everybody left to die also. Why? Because now there's a possibility that I have a mixed in chatas or ola mixed in. So and case number three is where instead of a bird, see the way the Mishnah started was a bird from the kan stuma flew to the kan mifureshes. If on the other hand it was a bird from the kan mifureshes which flew to the kan stuma, then what happens, Rabbi say? Everything left to die. Why? Same possibility that halacha l'maisa there is a sacrificial bird mixed in. So it's easy to follow. So we'll say, so I'll tell you something. By the way, now you also appreciate the godless of yesterday's daf. Do you remember again? We saw the last Mishnah in the parak, which was the two women who were bringing all of their bird offerings. You remember what they did? They gave a group of birds to the kohanim, and to the kohanim, what do they say? Here, right? We're supposed to say, if you think about it, is incredible godless, because the truth is, birds are mobile, or at least it appears so. Right? So there is a chachma to saying, you know what? Here's the requisite number of birds. I'm not designating anything. Here, Kohen, here are all the birds. Whatever you do is great with us, right? We're mocha one another, or breira, whichever concept we're using, and that way all the birds get offered up. Pretty amazing. Good. Mishnah Hey, chatos Mikan va'ola mikan ustum be'entzah. Both say this is a great case, So also listen to this. I have now. There seems to be a little bit of a machlokas between Rashi. It's not really Rashi and Tosfos, but we'll just go with Rashi on the left side over here. Chatas mikan va'ola mikan. Listen, to great case. So let's say I have a chatas bird on one side, and an ola bird on the other side. Look at Rashi. Chatas mikan preita hamifureshes lechatos. Mitzad echad, u'preitem b'freshes li'olam mitzad sheni, u'shnei pridin shal kanstum be'emtza. Both a great case. I have a chatas bird on one side, a ola bird on another side, and I have a kanstuma, an unspecified bird pair in the middle. So I'll say, so what happens? Now you know where this is going. Parach mina emtza litzdadin, right? So I'll say, so listen to this. So parach mina emtza litzdadin, if one of the birds in the middle ultimately goes ahead and flies to the side, parach minha emtza litzdadin, echad hilech ve'echad hilech. So we'll say, so what happens if the birds in the middle go ahead and each of them fly to a different side? So what's the halacha? Lo hifsid klum. Ultimately, again, you have not lost anything. Ela yomar zeh shahalach eitzel chatas, zeh shahalach eitzel olos, ola. So we'll say, so in this case over here, we assume matzah min esmino, each bird goes to its particular designation. So if you look at Rashi for just a moment, Rashi says, lo hifsid klum, the osam ura machatos yakriv chatos, va'osa shema ola. At the end of the day, what we say is the bird that flew. Now remember, this is a kanstuma. In the middle, right? This is a kanstuma in the middle. So we assume is the bird that flew to a chatos will be designated as a chatos, and the bird ultimately again that flies to the ola will be designated as ola. Zeh shahalach eitzel chatos. Chatos, v'zeh shahalach eitzel olos ola. Look at Rashi for just a moment again. Rashi lo hifsid klum. V'osam uru machatos yakriv chatos v'osa shema ola. So we'll say, so this is an incredible musar in general. Just about we assume the birds go where they know they need to go. You know, there's the Balatanya. The Balatanya said a beautiful mashal. He spoke about one time a farmer two farmers who were having a machlokes, ultimately about a chicken. It's birds, so it's not a tangent. It's mamish. It's in the parasha. So two farmers. This farmer A claimed the chicken is mine. Farmer B claimed the chicken is mine. So they went to the Rav, and the Rav had a great idea. What we're going to do is we're going to tie the chicken's feet. Place the chicken in the middle of you, and then untie the chicken's feet. And whoever the chicken goes to, that's obviously the correct owner. So the Balatanya said that so many times in life we walk around with our feet tied. It's called the Yetzer Hara. It's called all the different mistakes we make in life. But see, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, if you help me untie my feet, you will see that I always come running to you. Take away the obstacles, take away the rope, take away the things that bind me and hold me back. Remove the things that hold me back, and you will see I always come running to you. The chatas goes to the chatas, the ola goes to the ola. Chazal yemtza. I'll say it was so nice, but now what happens? Chazal yemtza. So now both say, so now one of the birds from the side. So now both remember again. Now I have no birds in the middle. All I have is 4 birds, 2 on one side, 2 on the chatas side, 2 on the ola side. And then what happens? One of them flies back into the middle. So we'll say, so now what happens? Chazla emtza, saha yamusu. So we'll say ultimately again, assuming that there's some other group in the middle, then I will say the problem is, and again I will say, you see, it's just a simple principle. Any time that in your mixture of birds, you have a bird that has been designated as a karban, it ruins it for the rest of the birds. So for argument's sake, then I still have some either additional bird population or some other group in the middle, and one of the birds from the periphery flies back into the middle, ultimately yamusu. So the Gemara says, so echazali emtza hamsam yamusu, elo yikravu chatos, ve'elo yikravu olos. So both say now again that doesn't preclude ultimately again the ones on the side from still being offered. Chazar oshe parach mina emtza litzdadin harekulan yamusu. And both say in that case ultimately again if the bird from the periphery went back into the middle, or ultimately what? Went back, the bird that was on the periphery went back into the middle, then from the middle went back into the subsequent groups, ultimately again, all the birds are left to die. So we'll say again, that's just the same klal over and over and over. Whenever there is the potential mixture of sacrificially designated birds, they ruin everything for the rest of the group. Good. So we'll say, let's go weiter. Ein Mevi'in. We'll say this is actually fascinating as well. Ein Mevi'in Torin Keneged B'nei Yonah. So we'll say, listen to this. In the world of Kinnim, right? In the world of bird pairs. So if you remember again, we know the Torah allows for the use of two different types of birds, Torin and B'nei Yonah. Now we'll say, now just so you should know, there is a level of machlokes as to what types of birds they are. You know, the general translation is that Torin are turtle doves and B'nei Yonah are pigeons. It's interesting, even though Yonah is right? But again, Torin are turtle doves and Yonah and B'nei Yonah are pigeons. So we'll say, so again, but that's a machlokes also. Some say it's actually the reverse. For our purposes, it doesn't matter all that much. What we know is these are the two, I shouldn't say that. It matters incredibly. It matters incredibly. I didn't mean it doesn't matter. I meant that for this halacha, the precise definition is not what's important. What matters over here is like this. Although the Torah says you could use two birds for bird offerings, any given pair has to be the same type of bird. So you either have to choose Torin or B'nei Yonah. You cannot bring one bird as a Tor and one bird as a B'nei Yonah. That's what it means. Ein Mevi'in Torin Keneged B'nei Yonah, V'lo B'nei Yonah Keneged Torin. So we'll say, so the halacha is, you may not go ahead and bring Torin Keneged B'nei Yonah, and not B'nei Yonah Keneged Torin. Look at Rashi. Ein Mevi'in Torin Keneged B'nei Yonah, D'yesh lahavi lo, chovaso shnei mimin echad, ubetaras karnim mafik mikra. So apparently, again, this is based on a pasuk, right? The truth is, the simple drasha would be, O Tor, O Ben Yonah, right? The pasuk, whenever it refers, it always uses lashon of O. So the I don't know if he's quoting over here a Gemara or he's quoting Torah's Kinnim is the Medrash. Either way, so the pasuk makes a drasha that halacha l'maisa you either have to use Torim or B'nei Yonah. But take a look at the Rash for just a moment. So the Rash says, Ein Mevi'in. It's like right across from Rashi in the new parak. Ein Mevi'in, Perish Ein Mevi'in Torin Keneged B'nei Yonah, D'chsiv Shtei Torim O Shnei B'nei Yonah, Echad Lechatas V'Echad Li'ola. Aval Lo Tor U Ben Yonah Echad Lechatas V'Echad Li'ola. So I'll say that's the drasha. The drasha is Shtei Torim O Shnei B'nei Yonah. You have to bring the same type of, right? You have to bring the pair from the same min of birds. Back to the Gemara. Keitzad. Ha'isha shevia. So we'll say, so again, now Ha'isha shevia chatasa tar va'olasa ben Yonah. So I will say, so now we come to a very interesting case. Now I've established the rule. The rule is both karbanos, both birds from the bird pair must come from the same min of birds. So now watch this fascinating case. Let's say a woman shows up to the Beis Hamikdash. Why is it bringing a woman? Why is he using the example of a woman? Because I will say, remember again, so remember we would assume that the most common type of kinnim that were brought, where the kinnim was a kin for childbirth. So what happens? So a woman shows up to the Beis Hamikdash, and what happens? Shevia chatasa tar va'olasa ben Yonah. She shows up to the Beis Hamikdash with two birds. One is a tar, right? One is a tar, ultimately again for her chatas, and she brings a ben Yonah, ultimately again for her ola. So I say, so now the shayla is, now what do I know? What do I know? What do I know? I know that she's going to have to change something. What's the shayla? Which one? So we'll say, so watch X, good. So what's the halacha? Tichbol v'savi ola satar. So we'll say, in this case, what should she do? She should go ahead and switch her ola to be a tar. So she should switch her ola ultimately again to conform with the chatas. Ola satar v'chatasa ben Yonah. Tichbal v'tavi olasa ben Yonah. Similarly, again, if her ola was a tar and her chatas was a ben Yonah, she should switch her ola to conform with her chatas. Rabbi said the Tanakama holds that the type of bird to be used for the bird pair offering is what? Whatever you designated as the chatos, that's going to govern ultimately again what you are going to use for the ola. Take a look at Rashi for just a moment. Ha'isha shevia chatos tar va'olasa ben Yonah tichbal v'tavi olasa tar mimina chatos. So we'll say, because again, Tanakama holds the chatos is the dominant carbon. We'll see a machlokes in just a moment. The chatos is the primary one or the more important one, and therefore halacha l'maisa, It's the min of the chatos that determines what the ola is going to be. Min chatos imevia ola satar v'chatas benyona tavi ola benyona min chatos the chatos hu ha'ikar. So ultimately, again, Rashi says, because out of the two karbanos, a chatos and an ola, a chatos is considered to be the primary offering, and therefore the chatos determines the type. So if she, now again, obviously, this is all, she's showing up to the Beis HaMikdash with these two birds, one is a tar, one is a ben yona. We say to her, whatever your chatos is, your ola must mirror your chatos, because as Rashi says, the chatos is the ikar. If you take a look at the Rush for just a moment, the Rush says, Tichbal v'tavi ola satar, lahavi mimin chatos, vim lo hoktira harishona, teitzi the Beis HaSreifa. So okay, so we'll leave that alone for now. Good. So Ben Azai disagrees, and he says, Holchen achar harishon. So this is actually very interesting. Ben Azai says that halacha l'maisa, we go after whatever is the first karban that she offered. Whatever is which makes sense, whichever is the first karban that she offered, Shabbos says, so that is what locks in the min. So look at Rashi for just a moment. Ben Azai Omer Holich Achar Rishon V'chevan Shevia Olas Satar Tchila Tichba Lahavi Chatas Tar Mimin Olasa. Shabbos says, so obviously the Tanakama is going in a case, ultimately, again, even if the chatas was not yet offered, right? Halacha l'maisa, again, everything, the bird pair is determined by the identity of the chatas. So whatever type of bird the chatas is, that's the kind of bird that the ola is going to be. Ben Azai says, everything goes after the first bird offered. So whatever you offered first, that's what locks in the type of bird species, and halacha l'maisa, that is what the remaining carbon comes from. Next, we'll say last halacha in the parak, which halacha that actually we're very familiar with because we saw it a number of times already. Ha'isha shevia chatasa umesa. Supposed to listen to this interesting case. You have a woman who had to bring a bird pair, and what happens? So unfortunately, she dies after offering up one of the birds. After offering up one of the birds, Sa'isha shevia chatasa umesa. If a woman goes ahead and what brings her chatas, and then she died, so we'll say what's talacha? Yaviu yarshin olasa. So we'll say, so by the way, I just want to point out, we're going to see, this is not unique to bird offerings, right? If let's say, if a woman brought a chatas and she died and she left behind an ola, so what's talacha? So yaviu yarshin olasa. Her yarshin, right, her offspring, have the ability to bring the ola on her behalf. On the other hand, olasa umesa, if she offered up her ola and then she died, lo yaviu yarshim chatasa. Ultimately, again, her yarshim, right, her inheritors, cannot offer up her chatas on her behalf. Why is that, Rabbosai? So again, if you look at Rashi, look at the Rashi just a moment. Lo yavi yarshim chatasa de'ein kapara lemesim. Because also remember again, chatas affects kapara. There is no kapara for the dead. Say a little bit differently. In other words, that there is no karbanic kapara for someone who is no longer alive. V'hilchasa gemirila dechatas shemesu ba'aleha lemisaz. Rabbosai, remember again. So this is one of the cases. This is one of the 5 chatos, right? Remember again our famous 5 chatos. The 5 chatos that are left to die. Number 1 on that list is chatos shemesa ba'aleha. You can never offer up an ownerless chatos. So if the owner of the chatos dies, halacha l'maisa, the chatos itself is just left to die. So I'll say a very interesting distinction. So if the woman dies having offered the chatos and not the ola, her yarshim could offer the ola because there is an ola that could be offered on behalf of. Well, there is an ola that could be offered even if the owner has died. Masha'inkim, if she offered up the ola but not the chatos, that the yarshim cannot offer up on her behalf. Hadron Allah kan stum. We'll continue with the new parak tomorrow.